Welcome back to the Cozy Mountain Homestead, and today I'm going to share a huge mistake that I made with feeding my chickens and how you can avoid making the same mistake as well. So it was mid-spring and my chickens should have been picking back up on their laying schedule. We have 17 laying hens and we were getting maybe 4 to 5 eggs per day. That is insanely low. That is a number that I would expect with about 10 chickens and maybe midwinter, right? I should be getting at least 10 to 12 eggs per day with that many chickens in the spring. And when I realized that they were not laying, I started to think, okay, are they getting older? That is a contributing factor to lowering the amount of eggs that we are getting per day. However, the younger chickens were also not laying consistently, and this was a problem because in years past, we have never had any issues with their laying patterns. So I started to research maybe things that would be causing them to not be laying as frequently and things that may affect their health that can cause them to not lay as consistently. And something that kept coming up was nutrient deficiencies. And obviously I want my chickens to be healthy. I want them to be laying and have as long of a life as they can while also laying eggs. There are lots of healthy hacks you can do with boosting their nutrition with products that you can sprinkle into their food and things that can increase their nutrition. This is the mistake, though, that I landed on and have realized now that I've made a change and the laying has picked back up again. Even my older hens that are 3+ are also laying consistently now. So now I've kind of honed it down to what the original issue was. So about a year ago, our local feed store, where we try to buy all of our farm supplies from because supporting local, they carry really good quality products. They started carrying a local non-GMO feed created by a local farm. It had really great nutritional profile. It had all of the needs of our chickens to lay healthy eggs. On paper, it looked like incredible feed. And I'm sure it is incredible. However, something that I realized as they were eating the feed was they were only picking out the parts of the feed that they liked and not eating all of the feed. So as a whole, the chicken feed has all of the needs of our chickens nutritionally. However, if they're not eating all of the parts of the feed, then they're not getting all of that nutrition, right? I talked to the feed store and I asked what their thoughts were, why my chickens are not laying as much, maybe do I need to add some supplements to their water? Like, what do I need to do? And one of the men who worked there said, actually, I noticed that my chickens are only picking out little bits of the food and not eating all of it. And it was leaving like crumbs and dust in the bottom of the feeder. And they clearly were not eating all the food. What he suggested was a pellet formed chicken feed, which we had been doing a crumble for ever since we've had chickens, and decided to change it up with this new local non-GMO feed. And obviously that wasn't working out. So we ended up buying a pellet formed chicken feed that obviously is not as attractive or fancy feeling or as natural feeling. However, if chickens are not getting all the nutrition that they need, then they're not going to be laying eggs. So by changing it to the pellet formed non-GMO food, it's also still really high quality feed. I feel confident with the quality. Now my chickens are getting all of the nutrition that they need to lay healthy, rich eggs, that they are getting all the nutrition that they need by eating these pellets. They also free range half of the day. We let them go out and they have access to bugs and to grass and all the things that chickens need to have a really balanced diet. But if they're not getting the nutrition that they need from their feed, then they're also not going to be super healthy and lay consistently and lay healthy, strong eggs. So don't make the same mistake that I did and try to fix something that's not broke and change up their food to more of this loose ingredient based feed. It may feel better because if you're like me and you're more on the crunchy side and it feels good to have like all these ingredients for them to pick through, but they will not eat all of the feed and get all the nutrition that they need. Just get the pellet or the crumble and opt for something that is either non-GMO or organic, depending on your values and your budget, and maintain that nutritional health for your chickens so that they can continue to lay eggs well into their old age. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned something and won't make the same mistake that I made. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know if you've done this before, if you are so grateful that you didn't make this mistake. And I am just glad that now we have healthy, happy chickens who are laying consistently. Because this is a new channel, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you like homesteading and lifestyle content. I'll be sharing all things baking, biblical motherhood, homesteading, anything that I enjoy talking about, I will be sharing here. And again, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to all of my videos, and I will see you next time.